Okay, so, little test. Here's a group of products that have been introduced into the marketplace over the last 10 or 12 years. Who in this room can tell me what all these products have in common? Anybody want to take a guess? The answer? What? They have what? Electricity. Oh, electricity, okay. Electricity, power. Well, that's an interesting answer. Not the right one. Anybody else want to take a crack? FDA? Okay, interesting answer. By the way, this is, I tell you, it's such a small world. I was the wonderful recipient of a couple of FDA warning letters. Guess who signed them? Larry Spears. Okay, what do these products have in common? Ladies and gentlemen, every one of these failed. Every one of these products failed. Now, why did they fail? Can anybody tell me what is the number one reason why a product fails in the medical marketplace? Take a guess. Reimbursement. Wrong. What isn't that? What did you say? Outcome, bad outcome? Wrong. Number one reason, almost 50% of the time why a product fails is because there is no viable market, okay? Almost 50% of the time, no viable market, okay? Block. Now, what do you do when you have a block? How many folks in their startup experience in this room have hit some kind of a block? Okay, it's not that unusual of a problem. What do you do when you hit a block? Well, I'll tell you what we did. We pivoted, and man, we pivoted like crazy. And the pivot that we made is we took a step back and we thought about this for a second, and we said, well, you know, what's really going on here is ultimately the availability of new drugs are the key factor that will drive this market. Now, we were fortunate. Again, I told you, timing was good. At that time, there were at least over 25 companies, and these were name brand companies. You can see the posters on the right. There were over 25 companies who were developing drugs in the osteoporosis category. And these folks who were developing the drugs recognized that devices would be needed to conduct those clinical trials. In particular, the bone density and the number of fractures were the primary endpoints of those trials. So we knew that there was a waiting market if we could figure out how to go out and capture that market. Further, we also recognized that if any of these drugs eventually made it to the end game and became approved, that the devices would be needed to basically diagnose the patients and determine who would need the drugs and to monitor those patients and determine if they were responding appropriately to the drugs. So we looked at this, and I'll tell you what we did. We actually changed our complete value proposition, and we focused less and less and less on all those great features and benefits of the instrument, the 5-minute scanning time and the 1 millimeter resolution and the radioactive source goes away. We dropped all that stuff. I'll tell you what we did. We came up with a value-added proposition that focused on a service, on the best things that we could do, all the best practices to ensure that these companies would have a successful and an efficient and a well-conducted clinical trial.